All right, so I'm here with my dad, and we're recording the senior citizens edition of the Post Fade podcast, and we're going to talk about sports, something that we both love, basketball and baseball, and all the stuff that he taught me. So this is my dad, Rob, and same name as me. Dad, when's the first time you remember picking up a baseball?
Probably when I was 6 years old and throwing corn cobs on the farm and it didn't matter what I did. I was always picking something up and throwing it and making a curveball and whatever.
What were you throwing it at? Were you throwing it at some animals?
No, it didn't matter where I threw it. It would be barn swallows on the line, or it didn't matter. I just picked. It didn't matter. I picked them up and throw it.
Did you try to hit something?
Yes.
Do you think that helped you practice?
Well, certainly. I remember one time I hit a morning dove on the chimney, and I didn't know if I hit him or not, but he went down in there and he plugged up the chimney and
so you probably did hit him.
Yeah, it was, but that's what I did, that's what I did, and that's what I'm not bragging, but I was pretty good as a pitcher.
Who when you were little, who taught you?
My dad taught me. He coached my little league, coached my teener, and dad taught me everything. He was a good athlete. He died in 1969, and he taught me a lot.
He taught you about how to play?
How to play and how to lose and how to win, and there's so much involved there.
How to lose, that's an interesting one. What do you mean?
There's a lot of times where a guy come in and hit a home run and I get taken out of pitcher. It's not all about winning, it's all about how you winning and losing.
How you handle yourself.
Exactly. I mean, it's not all about winning. It's just go out and do your best and be happy with it.
Sure.
That's, I think.
Sure. So he coached your little league team. You were telling me a story a while back that's probably worth telling about not having baseball cleats.
Not having what?
Not having baseball cleats. Not having shoes to go play.
Not having baseball.
The shoes, yeah, the shoes. You were telling me a story.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, this is 1960.
Yeah.
We couldn't afford baseball shoes or even tennis shoes. I had to wear my mom's little slipper things. That's all we could afford.
Yeah.
And, it's funny today, but I mean, I was really upset at that time, but it doesn't matter.
But what'd you do? Did you play or not?
I did play, and I wore those.
In the slippers.
And exactly, I did. Mm-hmm. But that's okay. I mean, I didn't play any better or any worse with those slippers, and I mean, I just went out and played. I was really embarrassed at the time, but back in the 50s, late 50s and 60s, that's the way it was.
Yeah. It didn't matter if you were embarrassed.
It did to me.
Well, to you it did. But what I mean to say is Mom and Dad didn't care if you were embarrassed. They weren't doing it to embarrass you, right?
We couldn't. No, heck no. That's what we could afford. And it's so much, now you need a $300 pair of shoes to go play ball, and I was wearing mom's slippers.
Yeah, that's good.
That's the difference between then and now.
But did you take your batting gloves?
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
Okay.
Nobody had a batting glove, of course. You know that. And that's why I said that.
Yeah, of course. So you started out playing some Little League, and you, at some point, throwing all those corn cobs was starting to work out for you. It was pretty good. When did you start to feel like, hey, I'm pretty good at this?
I knew all along, I'm not bragging, but I knew all along that I had something. You know, like you said, I was throwing cord combs and pick anything up, but not bragging, but I knew I was good.
A lot of practice.
But that's what I did.
It's all you did, right?
That's exactly, you know, and that's what it takes for somebody to be really good at something. It's practice, practice, and you get better.
What was it like? What was it like at your place growing up? It was a farm, right?
Correct.
What'd you do?
I took care of the cattle and the hogs, and that was my job. And then I played baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And Dad was there all the time, and he supported me, and you know that's a problem today, because most of our kids don't have support from their family and their kids or their dad, and I mean a lot of them are just kind of off by themselves. They need dad and mom there to support them, and I always had that.
Yeah, it's lucky. It's lucky.
No kidding.
What was mom's role in that? If dad was teaching you how to throw a ball, what was mom doing?
Taking care of me and my brother and my sister, and I mean that's back when we farmed, and her job was just kind of take care of us.
Yeah.
And that's what it was back then, you know, back in the 60s and.
Yeah. So then you went on from your little league and you started playing some teener?
I went from little league. I think I started it when I was 6 or 7, and I went to teener, Legion, and then AAA ball, and yeah. I don't know. It was so much fun. I remember my arm used to get so sore. I'd be hauling grain, we'd be combining grain, and I'd reach up and grab my arm and try to work it, because I knew we had to pitch that night. But it eventually got so sore that I couldn't do it anymore.
Right.
It was fun, I loved it, man.
Sure. So, I mean, I've got a baby boy on the way. You say you started when you were 6 or 7. Do you think you could start earlier than that? Would you start him earlier if you could? Or you think just get out there and throw stuff, throw some rocks in the pond and do that stuff?
I would say you can start earlier.
4, 5 years old.
The earlier the better. I mean, look at Tiger Woods, the golfer, man. He was this. But yeah, the earlier the better, I think.
Yeah.
And it's so much mental.
Yeah, it is, and
For me it is.
And that applies to all sports, probably not just baseball, right?
Right. You know what? I was a stupid pitcher. I pitched, but I was a stupid pitcher. I didn't understand at that point in time how incredible. There's so much more involved than just going on. I went out there.
You didn't understand how complex it was, maybe.
Exactly. I didn't at that point in time. No, I didn't.
The nuances of it. You just thought, I'm just going to throw my best curveball.
And I did. But I could have been so much better.
If you were a thinking player.
It's all up here.
Yeah.
Exactly, man.
Yeah.
You gotta be smart. And I wasn't.
Yeah.
I went up and I had people swinging at curveballs. But no,
you had them.
So much more than that.
You had them missing, and you were embarrassing them sometimes, but you could have been a lot better.
I could have been twice as good.
Yeah. So maybe that's something that, if you're raising a kid, maybe that's you stick with it and you teach them all the nuances, right?
Yeah. Your son, if I'm still alive, I'll teach him a few things.
Sure.
I can do that.
So we think about basketball in kind of the same way. We think that's a mental game, right?
What?
I think that basketball's a mental game as well. Do you?
Well, certainly. Well, certainly look at. It is a mental. Look at Larry Bird. You know what? For him, it's not a mental thing. It's. I mean, because it's here. That's what he is. Larry Bird's got it. I mean,
Yeah. You mean that he's not actively thinking about stuff? He's just doing it.
It's all automatic.
Yeah.
He knows what he's got to do, and you know, that's what makes a great team.
Yeah. Does he think about what other people ought to be doing, or is he mostly thinking about what he needs to do?
Who, Larry? He thinks he knows what he needs to do. He doesn't care about what anybody else. He knows what he has to do, and he does it. It's pretty simple. I mean, this man is awesome, and he knows what he's doing, and I think, well, that's kind of like Thompson and Curry and
Durant.
those guys know what they're doing, and they don't have time to think about this and this and this. It just happens.
Yeah.
It's part of their game.
You don't have time to adjust midstream when you're in a game.
You don't.
If you didn't practice it together, it's too late.
There's no time to say, oh, wait a minute.
What if we design this play differently?
You don't have time to do that.
No, you don't. So who do you think is the best player right now in the NBA?
Zion.
He's not even in the NBA yet. And
He got drafted.
He got drafted. Okay, but not counting the new class of college.
You know what? I really like Thompson.
Klay Thompson.
Yeah. I mean, he does so much. You know, Curry's great, but I think Klay Thompson does way more than Curry does. And, you know, you can talk about what's his name for the Lakers and
LeBron.
Yeah, LeBron. Yeah. No, I think Klay Thompson does more for Golden State. Curry does. I mean, Curry's great.
Thompson's an A+ defender. He's an amazing defender. So he plays both sides of the ball. But you'd have to say that Curry adds something that nobody else can add. He has those amazing handles and the amazing playmaking ability. That Thompson doesn't have that playmaking ability. But he's amazing on defense. That's why I say basketball is not like Legos. You can't just put a bunch of pieces together and build a house. It's like a symphony orchestra. Everybody has their own instrument, their own specialty. There's not just Euroblock and Euroblock and Euroblock and let's stick them together. They better fit. They better fit perfectly. And if they don't, you're not going to be great.
Well, that's why Bird and McHale and Ainge and DJ and Walton, and that's why they were so great, because they kind of fit together.
How'd they fit? What did they bring? Like, how did they fit together so well? What made it work?
Understanding each other.
Mentally.
I think, yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. I mean, yeah, mentally. They got it. I mean, Bird could break this way or Parrish, and they knew the ball was coming there. And they could read each other.
Yeah, selflessness.
And no kidding. Yeah, and not being selfish and yeah, they were great.
Mm-hmm. Then when everything went to hell, you just feed it to McHale and he'd just get a bucket.
No kidding.
Right.
Look.
How did Danny Ainge fit into that? Danny Ainge, how'd he fit?
I like his hustle.
Yeah.
And you know, that's like Smart for Boston today.
Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just the hustle and
the energy.
Energy. Yeah, exactly. That's Ainge and DJ. I can see Danny Ainge diving for balls.
Just like Smart.
Smart does that. Yeah, certainly. Mm-hmm. And Larry did that. And you know, that's how you win.
Yeah. Sometimes you see them dive for a ball they could never get. Why?
Yeah, it's I don't know. think the '80s Celtics were so good. It's unbelievable. You know, I'd like to see them play Golden State, or I think Bird and McHale, and I think they would. I like Thompson and Curry, but I still think the Celtics of the '80s would beat them. I don't know.
If Larry was playing right now, do you think he'd be any good?
Do I think what?
He'd be any good? Playing right now?
At his age?
No. I mean,
Back when he was.
I mean, if he was still 26 or 27, he's playing right now.
I think he would dominate.
Think so?
I think so. You know, I think he would do better than Curry.
Oh, he's a lot bigger.
Larry did. Of course, he's looking at a guard and a forward.
Yeah.
But no, Larry would be so much better than Curry.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we compare him to somebody like somebody bigger. I mean,
Well, look at you got Irvin Johnson, or you got who was the guy that played for Philly?
Barkley, Malone, Moses Malone, and Charles Barkley.
What the heck? Julius Erving.
Julius Erving. Okay, I didn't know who you were after there. Yeah.
I still think that Larry Bird had more talent in so many different areas. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I mean, if
Everybody has their opinions.
Yeah, I mean, if you were going to start a team right now, picking from among all the historic players, who do you think you'd start your team with?
Going back?
Going back to, well, let's only go back to about 1970. Back to 1970.
Well, of course I would want Bird on there.
Mm-hmm. So if you'll take
I would
Bird,
go with Moses Malone.
yeah.
Then you got to look at guards. Maybe John Stockton was really good.
How about Jordan?
Oh. Yeah, Michael Jordan's probably one of the greatest. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
No doubt about that.
Mm-hmm. And then big guys.
Who?
I'm asking about big guys. You know, the big men in the
I
league.
wouldn't-
David Robinson or Shaq.
Shaq is. I was just trying to think about Shaq, but I'm not a Shaq guy, man.
Just because of the way he played.
Well, he got away with murder, man.
Yeah, he was kind of a bully. But
Well, he pushed people out of the way, and these referees never called stuff.
right. But then
That's my opinion, and I could be wrong.
maybe. But you know what? He also took a lot of hard fouls.
Well, but that's what they had to do to counteract that.
Right. They had no choice.
You aren't going to do this because we're going to come in and grab you.
Right.
Well, that's okay.
So, back to baseball. I was watching the Twins game the other day, and something stands out to me. Almost everybody in the league nowadays, when I watch these pitchers, from the starters to the relief pitchers all the way down through, they all throw at 96. Everybody in the league can throw it like Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan was over 100.
I know, but what I mean is it didn't used to be where everybody had a 96, 97 mile an hour heater. Now almost everybody does.
What really matters, they throw 96,
Can you place it?
and they can slow it. They can slow it down to 86. And all these batters are out in front of it because it's a slower pitch.
Right. But it used to be that you'd see a pitcher in the bigs and they would say, he throws a two-seam fastball that goes about 89. That's his top end. That guy can't even play in the league anymore. He's not even allowed. You better bring it about 95 or you're not even getting a look.
I pitched against Dave Collins. Cincinnati picked him up, and I struck him out one time, and he got a home run and a triple off me.
That's not very good. That's 3 at-bats, and you got a homer, a triple.
But this guy's playing
In the big.
Major League Baseball, and I struck him out.
Okay, yeah. I mean, he played a long career.
He didn't. No,
Didn't he?
Never did. No, he played for 5-6 years.
Okay, 6 years. Okay.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good that I at least.
You faced a big leaguer. You struck him out, and then he took you a yard,
He played for Rapid City Macy's
and then he got a triple.
and a home run.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said. Yeah. Okay.
But it was fun, I had so much fun playing ball, man. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I used to live for that. I knew when I was going to be pitching that night.
Uh-huh.
And, yeah, I loved it, man.
Did you ever get nervous?
No.
Why not?
But
Never thought about it?
confidence.
Where'd you get that?
Because I knew I was not bragging, but I knew I was good.
Well, that's like saying you're confident because you were confident. How'd you know?
It started when I was 6 years old, 7 years old, and I'd win.
So you never worried because you knew that you were good.
I knew I was good.
Do you think maybe Tiger had some of that where he doesn't,
Oh, certainly.
it doesn't mess up his stroke because he just knows. I practiced this more than anybody and I got it.
You're right. I had a friend of mine, Tom Keever, come up one time and say, "How do you do this?" "Well, I don't understand." I said, "Well, you got to be confident in what you're doing."
How? Right?
Well, he didn't know that. I told him, I said,
That sounds easy.
I know what I'm doing. I'm good. Not being
Arrogant.
arrogant.
But you've been doing it your whole
I
life.
knew I did it from 6 years old to 26.
So that's the way you get great at something. I believe in that. I think that
It's-
you practice your whole life.
If you don't have confidence in yourself, you better just hang it out.
All right. I'm gonna stop this one.